I cut off my dad after he betrayed me by making my childhood bully his new daughter and taking her to our special spot. Then I did. Now my entire family has disowned him, and he's calling me the Heartless one. My parents divorced when I was 9, and ever since then, custody had been split pretty evenly between them. Half the week with my mom, half with my dad, a rhythm I got used to, even if it was never ideal. My brother, who's older, aged out of the custody arrangement a while ago. But I'm 16, so technically I'm still supposed to follow the plan. Except about 3 months ago, I decided I'd had enough. I told my mom I didn't want to go to my dad's house anymore. I didn't want to deal with it, with him, not right now, maybe not ever again. My mom talked to her lawyer, and he said that as long as I didn't block my dad's number or cut off communication entirely, it was okay. So that was that. I stopped packing the little overnight bag that used to sit by my door every other Friday. Now I stay with my mom full-time. People keep asking why, what happened, what could make me stop seeing my dad after years of shared custody. I guess from the outside, it doesn't make sense. My dad isn't a monster. He's not abusive or anything. He's just complicated. For most of my life, he's been the kind of dad who means well but somehow always manages to hurt your feelings without realizing it. One of his things was what he called our spots. He had a special our spot with me and a totally different our spot with my brother. Each one was a secret, something just for him and that one kid. With me, it was this tiny lakeside cafe that sold the best hot chocolate in winter. We'd sit by the window, watching the ducks and talking about nothing. With my brother, it was a hiking trail outside the city. I wasn't allowed to go there, and my brother wasn't allowed to come to mine. Dad used to say, "The world's full of places, and you each deserve one that's just yours." At the time, I thought it was sweet. It made me feel special, like I had my own little corner of my dad's world. But over time, it started feeling more like being boxed in. Like there was an invisible line between me and my brother, and Dad was the one drawing it. He kept things so separate, so controlled, that sometimes it didn't even feel like we were one family anymore. Then he got remarried when I was 12, and everything started changing. His new wife seemed nice at first. I didn't have a problem with her until I realized who her daughter was. Her stepdaughter, my new stepsister, was someone I already knew from school. Someone I hated. She wasn't my personal bully exactly, but she was definitely one of those kids. Loud, mean, the kind of person who made everyone's life harder. When she was new at school, I actually tried to be nice to her. I invited her to eat lunch with me and my friends because she looked lost. But she turned out to be a complete nightmare. She made fun of my friends, called one of them poor, and laughed at another for crying when she got a bad grade. When I stood up for them, she turned on me, said I was supposed to be on her side, that I'd betrayed her. We were only 10 then, but she had this cruel streak that's hard to forget. From that day on, we basically became enemies. She never bullied me directly, but she went out of her way to make me uncomfortable, glaring at me in the hallways, whispering to her friends, throwing little digs like, "Oh, look who's here, the fake nice girl." I hated when Dad became her stepdad. He knew exactly what the issues between us were. He knew the history, the tension, the way she treated people. And still, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "You two will learn to love each other. You'll see." It felt like a slap in the face. I wanted to laugh in disbelief, but I couldn't even find the humor in it. The worst part? He really believed it. He thought somehow, magically, we'd bond over being sisters now, as if years of bad blood and mutual resentment could vanish because he said so. And then, suddenly, she was everywhere. He started spending more time with her, finding our spot, building some new shiny father-daughter thing that was supposed to heal her wounds and make him the hero in her story. He looked so proud, so tender, like he was saving her, and every time I saw it, my chest hurt. He wasn't doing anything wrong, technically, but it still felt like he was choosing her over me. When he found out she didn't have friends at school or anywhere else, gee, I wonder why he decided I was going to fix it. He asked me to help her out, to be the bigger person, to be her friend. He looked at me like I was heartless for hesitating. I wanted to scream. You know what she's like.
You've seen what she does to people.
Why would you want me near her? I told him no, and that's when the fight started. His wife, my stepmom, I guess, chimed in too, saying I should prioritize family over some childhood friends who won't even be around in 5 years. That one stung. I told her those friends had been around for years, that they were kind and good, and nothing like her daughter. She gave me that pitying adult look, the kind that says you'll understand when you're older. But I understood perfectly well. She wanted her daughter to have what I had. And Dad was going along with it. Every visit after that just got worse. Me and my stepsister couldn't stand each other. She'd gloat constantly about living with Dad full-time, rubbing it in that she got to see him every morning and night while I only showed up on schedule. "We're closer than you and him ever were," she'd say with this smug grin that made me want to throw something. I'd tell her to shut up, and then I'd be the one in trouble. I tried to talk to Dad about it. I told him I felt betrayed, that he knew what she was like, knew she wasn't some misunderstood angel, and yet he kept taking her side. He said once he married her mom, he had to be there for her too. That we all needed to pull together as a family. I wanted to believe him, but every time we fought, he'd walk in and tell me to give her a break. His excuse was always the same. "She is no one, sweetheart. You have friends. You'll be fine." It was like my feelings didn't count because I wasn't lonely enough. The final straw came about 2 years into their marriage. He asked me to do something that I still think about, something small but it burned. He wanted me to talk to my cousins. A few of them go to school with us, and they all know her reputation. They've seen the way she treats people. So naturally, they didn't want to be around her. They ignored her at school and kept their distance at family gatherings. Dad pulled me aside one weekend and asked me to fix it, to convince my cousins to give her a chance. He said she was trying so hard to fit in that she just needed a little kindness. I said no immediately. Not because I wanted to be cruel, but because I wasn't going to ask my cousins to fake kindness for someone who'd made so many people miserable. That's when he got really mad. Not disappointed, angry. He said I was being spiteful and that I should show what a great girl I am by helping her. His tone broke me a little. He wasn't asking anymore. He was pleading. Like his entire peace depended on me sacrificing my own boundaries for this girl who couldn't care less about me. I started crying, and he sighed like I was being dramatic. That made it worse. I told him through tears that he liked her more than me anyway, and the awful part is, I meant it.
Because it sure felt that way.
Every time there was conflict, he took her side. Every time she played the victim, he comforted her. When I got upset, I was overreacting. The rest of the time, he'd just stay out of it completely. Pretend not to see what was happening right in front of him. The last few years have just been more of the same miserable cycle, her being awful, me crying, Dad pretending not to see, and his wife brushing everything off like I was being dramatic. I'm so tired of it. I used to think if I just ignored her, maybe things would calm down, but they never did. Every time I saw her smirking or heard her voice, I felt sick. I hated her more and more with every passing month. Sometimes I'd lie in bed and imagine her dad suddenly showing up and taking her away, or someone at school finally standing up to her, bullying her the way she's bullied others. Sometimes I'd even wish her mom would just leave. Just pack up and go somewhere far away with her, so I could finally breathe again. I know that sounds horrible, but I'm not going to lie about it. I reached my limit. I stopped pretending to be nice or polite or the bigger person. I didn't want to do anything that made it look like I thought she was a good person because she isn't. And then the one thing that broke everything, Dad started taking her to our spot. The place that was ours. The one that used to make me feel special, like I still mattered to him even after the divorce and all the changes. She told me herself, of course. She couldn't wait to rub it in. She said it so casually, like, "Oh, we've been there a few times. It's so pretty," and then showed me pictures. Pictures. Proof. She knew exactly what she was doing. She'd already been there 5 times before she said anything, and she wanted me to see. I completely lost it. I don't even remember half of what I said. I just know I snapped. Years of anger and pain and feeling second best came spilling out. I called her every name I could think of, a bully, a bitch, a monster. I told her she ruins everything she touches, that she doesn't deserve anyone's kindness. I know it was cruel, but it felt like she had ripped something sacred out of me and paraded it around just to watch me break. Dad and his wife heard it all. They came running in, and Dad tried to make me stop, but I couldn't. I told her she should do every horrible thing she's told other kids to do, every cruel word she's ever thrown at someone else, and when she finally does it, I'd celebrate. Because she's the one who deserves it. She's the one who's made people feel worthless for years. I turned to Dad, shaking, crying, and I said the words I never thought I'd say. "You're not my dad anymore. You have another daughter now." I meant it in that moment. I felt like he had chosen her again. He tried to calm me down, his voice soft and steady like he was talking to a little kid. He told me to take a breath, that I was lashing out, that I'd regret saying things I didn't mean. but I did mean them. Every word. I told him he had ruined our spot. That he lied to me when he said that place was just for us. That he betrayed me, not just once, but over and over, by taking her there of all people. I told him I could never forgive him for that. He kept saying it wasn't meant to hurt me, that he was sorry, that he'd stop going there with her, that he still loved me and that I'd always be his daughter. He said he loved all three of us the same. And that sentence, that one right there, it shattered me. I told him I didn't want a dad who could love her. I told him if he really loved us the same, then I didn't want his love at all. I told him my feelings never mattered to him. Only hers did. Because if my feelings mattered, he wouldn't have taken her to that place. He wouldn't have handed her something that was mine. I reminded him that he never took her to his and my brother's spot. Only mine. He knew exactly what that place meant to me, and still, he gave it to her like it was nothing. I asked him why he couldn't just pick any other place. Why that one? He didn't have an answer. He just stood there looking small, saying he was sorry over and over again. And all I could think was, he used to be my favorite person in the world. The one who made me feel safe. The one who promised he'd never let anyone hurt me. And now, he's the one who hurt me most. After that fight, I just stopped going to my dad's house. No big announcement, no dramatic scene. I just didn't pack my bag the next weekend. I ignored his calls, let his texts sit unread, and when he came by Mom's place to talk, I refused to see him. I was done. Completely and absolutely done. Something inside me broke that night, when I found out he took her to our spot. That was supposed to be sacred, just ours, and he gave it to the girl who made my life miserable. He tried to fix it, of course. He sent long messages saying he missed me, that I'd regret cutting him off, that families shouldn't let anger win. But I didn't care. I couldn't unsee the betrayal, the way he'd taken her side again and again, the way he ignored my pain. I'd finally had enough. Mom talked to her lawyer, and he confirmed I could choose to stay with her as long as I didn't block Dad or refuse all contact. So I stayed. It felt like the first time in years that I had peace. Then, word started spreading in the family. My grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins began asking what happened. I told them everything, the bullying, the favoritism, how he took her to our spot. My cousins, especially the ones who went to our school, already knew what she was like. They'd seen her bullying firsthand. They didn't even need convincing. Things escalated fast. My grandparents called and said they were disgusted with Dad. They told me they'd set aside college money for all the grandkids, but she wouldn't be getting any of it. They said, she's not family. They told Dad he should be ashamed for picking someone else's daughter over his own. I didn't ask for any of that, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't feel like justice. After years of being told to be the bigger person and try harder, they finally saw me. Then Dad left a voicemail, crying, rambling about how I'd turned the family against him, that I was breaking his heart, that I'd ruined everything. But it didn't sound like he was sorry for what he'd done. It sounded like he was sorry everyone found out. His wife called next. 3 angry voice messages in a row. She screamed that I was manipulative, selfish, and destroying my father. That I was just like my mother, bitter and hateful. She said I should be ashamed for tearing the family apart. I didn't respond. I just sent the recordings to Mom, who forwarded them to her lawyer, just in case. Since then, it's been quiet. My dad hasn't reached out again. My grandparents still refuse to speak to him. My cousins won't go to any family event if his wife or her daughter are there. And me? For the first time, I don't feel crazy. People finally saw what I'd been dealing with for years. But sometimes, when the house is quiet and my phone lights up with old photos or memories, I still think about the dad I used to have. The one who made our spot special. The one who said I'd always be his little girl. Now I don't even know who he is anymore. And yet, I feel relief. Because I chose myself. I chose peace. Still, there's this one thought that keeps creeping in late at night when everything's still, when the guilt tries to sneak back in. Am I the a-hole for walking away from my dad after everything he did?